Well, welcome back. Continuing here with Wall Street Green Digital, our next guest is David Solomont, who is CEO of Transportation Services, Inc., which is a very interesting electric vehicle company. He's been a long-time technology entrepreneur in interactive media, software, and now energy and transportation. He's based in Boston, done a ton of great things. I'm not going to give his full bio, but he is one of the major progenitors of the modern tech economy. And what we're going to talk about is EVs. And when you get into the details of your project, David, we're going to hear that it's not just Teslas and BYD and the move toward plug-ins and plug-in hybrids. There's a more specific set of things you're talking about. But maybe before you give your slides, just give us your opinion about where we stand on the trajectory toward an electric vehicle future.
Okay, thank you, David, and thank you, Robin and Peter, for putting this session together. Yes, I'll give you my high-level view of the lay of the land, if you will, or the condition of the road for electric vehicles and electrifying transportation. And then I'll chat for a few minutes on how my company is making or intending to make its small impact to improve the climate for our kids, grandkids, and everyone else. So first, in terms of timing, you pick up the paper, you listen to Tesla or BYD, and you think that the electric car is here and we're ready to go. Truth of the matter is we're at the real inception. We're at the earliest stages of the market in terms of timing. This isn't a 3 to 5 year shift. This is a 30-year shift. In fact, I just was thinking before this session about Bill Gross's words of wisdom, which is timing is everything. And truth of the matter is, I've been involved in the electric vehicle industry in one way or another for just shy of 20 years. And timing is everything. The time is now, although it's just starting. The other issue is, barriers. And frankly, as much as the government wants us all to go out and buy charging stations, truth of the matter is there's two barriers. One, if we all bought a charging station, if we all bought an electric vehicle, or if the government gave them to us, it would crush the grid. I mean, the grid just doesn't have the capacity to support. And interestingly enough, we view electric vehicles as a way to improve the environment and reduce our carbon footprint. Dirty little secret is we're still substantially powered by fossil fuel, and the increase in AI and computing has actually increased the use of coal and more so than solar, wind, and other approaches. The other barrier, other than infrastructure, is battery technology, and we're just not there. I'll talk about it with respect to what I'm doing, but in terms of passenger cars and large trucks, two things. One, the cost isn't there with the range, and the safety's not here. No one has cracked the code on safe non-combustible battery technology as much as the government would or the industry would want us to think that. And Tesla will quote chapter and verse that the percentage of fires with electric vehicles is much smaller than those with internal combustion powered engine. But that doesn't give me much comfort if I'm driving an electric vehicle or if it blows up in my garage. So given the fact that the battery's not ready for prime time, given the fact that the infrastructure is not ready, where do we start with electrification? Well, we're starting in the urban areas, which
okay, I think you should switch to your slides now so we have plenty of time to do that. So, I mean, obviously huge advances are happening in some of those arenas, particularly batteries, but you've got a very creative and specific approach to using electric vehicles in urban contexts. So tell us all about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned, there's issues of timing and barriers. Where do you start? You start in the city. And frankly, there's three things that make my company unique. EVTS, which stands for EV Transportation Services. Actually, we're a software company on wheels, to be perfectly candid. And we're combining electric vehicles with software for fleet management, remote diagnostics, logistics, routing, and delivery optimization. And we're starting in the two sides of our business are the Firefly, which is a platform for small footprint vehicles in urban areas, and Interplay, which is a solution that we've built, actually a company we acquired for routing, logistics, and delivery optimization. In terms of the vehicle itself, I mean, the markets we're targeting suggest that you need to have more than one variation on the theme. And we have a base platform, and we've got a dozen or more various configurations for package delivery, emergency services, utility. If we have time, I can show you a picture of our Firefly food service vehicle, which has everything in the kitchen sink, literally hot and cold running water, auxiliary power, think ice cream truck, coffee truck, lunch truck. And apropos to ice cream truck, recently Brooklyn, New York is passing legislation that you can't have, that the operators of ice cream trucks can no longer have gas-powered generators on their trucks. So we're, as Bill Gross would say, timing is everything. And even though I've been at it for 17 years, I'm at the right time in the right place with the right solution. We're targeting in the urban areas 2 applications. One is what we call essential services, city, state, municipal government, and frankly, that includes things as exciting as mosquito control. Believe it or not, San Mateo's buying 10 of our vehicles for mosquito control, and there's 1,000 members of the American Association of Mosquito Control Officers. And believe it or not, we have a lot of competition. Everybody has competition. Those who tell you they don't, frankly, are probably misunderstood their market. Having said that, we have been able to differentiate our vehicle through the combination of purpose-built accessories and the software for remote diagnostic and fleet management. And other companies in our space can't spell fleet management, but it's essential services, city, state, municipal government, and then it's last mile delivery, which obviously is huge. On the software side, we have 2 solutions. One is Interplay Direct, which is the software for logistics, routing, delivery optimization, either a server-based solution to optimize other companies' delivery software, which we're doing for Delivery Hero in South America with their subsidiary Hugo. We've already routed 16 million of their deliveries. And Interplay Deliver, which is an autonomous sidewalk delivery robot. And I think if we're early in EVs, we're like, we're still pregnant with autonomous vehicles, so to speak. The point being that we're trying, or we're launching our first solution on golf courses for refreshment delivery, private property, very well mapped, and it'll give us an opportunity to research what we need to offer down the road for the full-blown autonomous delivery in cities, complete with a teleoperation platform. I mentioned that we have a connected vehicle, and so I can literally not only track vehicles, which is pretty much Mickey Mouse. We have a proprietary battery management system, so I can drill down, or my customers can drill down and look at the individual battery cells in the vehicle. Now, drilling down is exciting and it's a gee whiz factor, but the platform is all programmatic. And all of the data from the vehicles is going to the cloud so that we can set up parameters. If the city has their vehicles come back to the shop or the depot at night, if they're not plugged in within 30 minutes, we send an alert to the fleet manager. Or some cities might be concerned with fleet manager or driver safety. We can even generate reports that let the fleet manager know whether or not their driver is using directional signals. All of the data from the vehicle is shoved up in the cloud. And again, we're really just a software company on wheels. We've got numerous strategic initiatives. We've got a top-notch management team, fairly capable, if not more than capable, board of directors and advisors, including Shelley Berkeley, former congresswoman from Nevada, and energy attorney, and Dave Roberts, who spent 40 years in the automotive industry, former head of Chrysler UK, and former CEO of Aston Martin. I welcome anyone, customers, drivers, investors, feel free to reach out to me. Here's my phone number, my email address, and I look forward to hearing from you. David?
Thank you so much, David. Really interesting project, a lot to follow up on there. One thing that I'm curious about, I mean, one of the key points you made is the ability to sort of track and control and monitor such vehicles. And this is one thing I think many people who don't have an EV fail to appreciate, is that once a vehicle is fully electric, it really essentially becomes controllable by software in a way that a internal combustion engine is harder to do. And you can really, so I think we're kind of heading into an intelligent vehicle universe. Is that the way to think about it?
Yeah, I mean, yes, absolutely. Although the truth of the matter is, even though internal combustion is powered by gas, at this point, all vehicles are connected, whether they're gas or
Sure.
electric.
Yeah.
But in terms of electric vehicles, the opportunity, to frankly even take remote control if there's an impending disaster, are obviously enabled by the software. But frankly, everything in our vehicle, we're pretty much battery, wheels, motor agnostic. Everything is off the shelf as much as possible. Everything's about the software. Software is the secret sauce for vehicle control, performance, remote diagnostics, and again, logistics, routing, and delivery optimization. And I should point out, on the logistics, routing, and delivery optimization software, this isn't applicable just to electric vehicles, meaning we're also offering that software, that solution to internal combustion engine powered vehicle fleets, because the extent to which we can optimize their fleet, make it more efficient, they're going to use less gas.
Yeah. One of the things I think a lot of people don't appreciate is how in certain areas, because vehicles, especially smaller ones like the ones that you're developing, are in effect less expensive to build and operate than places like East Africa and China, India. There's an extraordinary, upsurge in these 2- and 3-wheeled vehicles, yours being a 3-wheeled vehicle predominantly. So, I mean, I guess you're working now in the developed world, in the United States primarily, right?
Yeah, so today we have operations. Our Vehicle Technology Center in North America is in Fort Worth, Texas. We've got a facility in Coventry, England. We're scaling up now to begin delivering our 2025 vehicle by the end of the first quarter, early second quarter 25. Right now, we're focused on North America, Europe. You mentioned 3 wheels. I drive a Firefly pretty much every day of the week, and people look at me cross-eyed. Many people stop me and say, hey, the meter's broken. They think I'm a parking meter officer. But 3 wheels here in North America are a bit unusual. However, in Europe, I mean, they're frankly very popular. And as you mentioned, in India, Africa, China, there are probably more 2- and 3-wheelers than there are 4-wheeled vehicles. But there's a lot of advantages, not the least of which in urban areas, very small footprint, very tight turning radius. I can turn on a dime, or frankly, and there's Mayor Bloomberg launched an initiative a number of years ago, former Mayor Bloomberg, called C40 Cities, which is a worldwide initiative in major cities around the globe to eliminate large trucks from the center of the city, not only internal combustion powered, but trucks. Because if you're in whatever city you're in, Manhattan or San Francisco, Chicago, Boston, if you've got a large truck, you pull it up next to the curb, double park, and basically the street's closed. The beauty of the Firefly, we can double park and we won't take up the whole road. In addition to which, I'm not sure if anybody can recall the pictures, but we have sliding doors, which seems like, well, that's a very small point. It's not a small point, it's a big point. 2 bicyclists have been killed in Massachusetts in the last 18 months. And when you have a city vehicle where it's either for essential services, parking enforcement, or delivery, and you're opening the door 100 times a day, getting in and out, the door opening is a huge issue. Frankly, it's of equal importance to the fact that we're all electric.
Yeah. Well, clearly your vehicles are intended for these urban contexts where government policy is going to be critical to determining how quickly we move in this direction. We've got the IRA. Bill Gross was talking about that. Talk a little bit about how you see the state of policy in terms of encouraging these things, and how you expect that evolve over time, and how much it may affect EV transportation services.
Yeah, the well, I don't like my wife says when I use truth of the matter, does that mean everything else is a lie? I'm not really, I don't follow up on policy that heavily. I rely on my customers and my dealers to understand the lay of the land. And we're not selling to consumers, many of our customers, city, state, municipal government. So policy wise, I have to say that the city, state, municipal government customers don't even ask me anymore what the internal rate of return is by switching from gas to electric. I mean, it's a given that we're going to electrify. And I take it as a given. Now, having said that, Jigger Shaw's program, the advanced manufacturing loan program, that's a very big deal. And not so much for small companies like mine, but certainly for the larger companies. I mean, people forget the fact that Tesla was virtually out of business until they got a loan from that program. So I think the government policies are important. On the other hand, saying we need to buy more chargers and providing unlimited cash for charging infrastructure without addressing the grid and the source of the fuel, the source of energy, I think those policies need to be revisited.
So you really are sort of relatively downbeat compared to many analysts about the prospects for a rapid increase in electric passenger cars and such in the United States.
Yeah, I think I was with one of my investors who's a multi-generational family office has owned as many as 30 or more dealerships in the Northeast at one point. The bottom line is he can't sell an electric vehicle. Hybrid and certain models of hybrid are doing well. I don't want to name names, but Toyota was dissed for having a hybrid, and they were like sort of out of luck when everybody was going electric. Now they're frankly they're the smart ones. So
Yeah.
hybrid's going to take off, but all electric, no, I'm not as upbeat over the next 3 to 5 years. Over the next 5 to 15, yes.
Okay, we only have a couple more minutes, but you briefly mentioned robots and you showed a picture of a little box on wheels. Would your systems in general, your vehicles mostly eventually become autonomous and robotic controlled in the long-term trajectory, would you say?
No,
No.
I think I'd say that half of our vehicles will always be manned by an officer, whether that's for parking enforcement, prison perimeter patrol, and even delivery vehicles in the city. I don't see autonomous delivery anytime soon. I mean, cities are really complicated. Having
Okay.
said that, we think we have great prospects on golf courses, private property, gated communities, prison, perimeter patrol. But I guess you'd say that I'm not a naysayer, but I'm not as bullish, having been around technology for the past, I guess, 50 or more years. It doesn't move quite as quickly as we all expect. And so I
Yeah.
think that EVs will take more time, autonomy will take more time. But I'm optimistic in general.
Good. Well, thank you, David. As Bill said, timing is everything. Thanks so much, David Solomont.
Thank you.
Good luck. Hope this thing moves as quickly as possible because we need more. I live in New York. You can probably hear sirens outside my door, and we need more EVs to
Well, we hope
improve
to
the quality of life.
replace all your parking enforcement vehicles with electric ones. Thank you,
Good.
David.
All right. Thanks again. See you all in a minute. We're back in a moment with Charles Oppenheimer talking about nuclear.